Welcome to Blender, Synthwave, and Chill. Here we go again. Final episode going over this shot of the noodle bar you've been looking at the last three streams before we move on to the next shot and some more characters. Today we'll open up the Blender file, take a look, see how it turned out compared to the concept art. Hope it's close. Alright, let's do it here. One sip of water and we'll get going. A few minutes late, had a OBS technical difficulty and a sick cat, but it's all resolved. For some reason, if you have any Adobe products open when you try to run OBS, it won't work, so you have to restart it and close all Adobe items, and then you can start. Thanks, Adobe, for loading more of my system and making it just a pain in the ass. Delicious nectar of the gods. Water. Okay. Little glitch there. Hello! My camera's in a different place. Hello. I feel like I'm in a Zoom meeting. Hello? I'm here for the notes on my shots. Oh, you don't like that shot? Fine. I'll do it again. For the 27th time. Yeah, that's previs for you. Actually, at Blizzard, they're pretty good about it. There can always be lots of revisions on shots and previs, even for games at Blizzard, but nothing tops the craziness of a indecisive director who doesn't know what he wants in the world of live-action film, who has never worked with previs before. That's when you get up to 50, 60, 70 versions of a single simple shot. And you just want to kill yourself. Not really, but you definitely want to tear your hair out and do other things to hurt yourself, to distract yourself from the drama. Alright, so hopefully the music isn't too quiet. I'm gonna, hang on, bear with me just one sec. Hang on, gotta test one thing. Okay, I think we're good. If anybody tunes in chat and yes, that's how I mostly call it. I think a little bit more and a little bit less. I've had that exact note. I used to have an audio bite with it. I wish I had it to play right now. On Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, it came up. I think that's the one with Brad Bird directing. It wasn't from Brad Bird, though. It was from the director emeritus, as he called himself, which was his lead storyboard artist who was kind of supervising the previs. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Nice guy, but he would sneak up behind you and stand in a quiet pregnant pose and then point next to you and brush your ear, and that's when you'd know he'd been standing behind you watching you work for who knows how long. Good times, good times. All right, let's see here. Let's open the big screen. I'm using the full display, so I got to remember not to open any porn or anything in any of my tabs because you can see everything, not just my window. So if I pull up any porn, let me know. If you want me to close it or just change it to a different kind of porn, that's fine. All right, so here's the scene. If you've been watching in the past, you've seen this, but this is the concept art it was based on that I did a few months ago. And pretty close. It's lit up a little bit different, looks a little bit different in 3D, but, you know, not too far off. And you can actually kind of see I used some of the actual art to build the 3D model. I have the little signs up here, and some of the characters here I cut out in cards and put them on here. So, and just to show you how the final turned out. Oops, did I close it? Oh, there it is. It's tiny. Tiny. Okay. Get this big here. All right, let's go back to the beginning. This is how it ended up looking, the final render. There you go. And the cool thing is it's all just a straight render from Blender, real time, except for the titles, of course. And in After Effects, I put the titles on, and I just the only post effects I usually do is I'll duplicate the footage once and put a Gaussian blur on it, and then set it to a screen, and then lower it down to like 8 to 12, 13%, and it just gives it a nice little softening glow to everything, which I like. I've coworker did that years ago, like a decade ago, and I still use it on everything. I love it. I even on stills in Photoshop. I think I probably even used it on this. There's always just a real slight glow to soften everything. Right, so yeah, this is how final's gonna look. And I'll show you everything I did in here. There's some stuff I did in here extra that ends up getting blurred out with the depth of field, but it might show up in other shots so you can see. Let's see here. So here we are. Here's the scene in all its 3D glory. Some of the stuff you can't see now is all this background used to be 3D models of these that looked kind of weird, but I took it and put in 2D drawn stuff back here, just on cards with alphas. It's not super high res because you don't get close. It looks kind of gritty. I like it. It looks more like animated stuff. More 2D drawn, the better. Someday I might change this texture too. You never know. You never seem to be finished with a shot, but eventually you gotta let it go. So, but yeah, it definitely blends with the hand-done textures on the characters more, and as well as these guys. So, let's make this up here. All right. So let's see, what should we do first? I can show you a couple things I got here from the start. I'm kind of going over this because I can show you how I've built all the Maya scenes from here on out. As you can see, if I pull out, it's part of a much bigger scene that I'm doing the entire sequence in. It's this, I call it Pomades Alley is the file name for it because it's called the Pomades, of course. And it's just this back alley underneath in this city. Actually, I don't have it here, but if you look in other shots, you'll see up in the sky here, the story is, it's kind of the typical sci-fi story with a giant utopian city that takes up the entire West Coast. And it's all like a nice, beautiful beautiful city up above. But down below in these little pockets underneath the city, it's so big that there's like these kind of air pockets in it that are kind of grungy and they're dripping water, which is why it's dripping. And this, as you can see, everything's always kind of wet, dripping. And the people who are kind of edgy and on the outskirts build little clubs and areas to hang out down here to get away from the overly perfect city, because, you know, everyone knows that the perfect utopia doesn't exist. There's always some sort of repression there, and so that's when the underground comes in. But yeah, and if you zoom in here, let's see. Kind of got a little texture going here. It looks like raindrops, but it's actually just a texture if I hit play. It's kind slow here, but you can kind of see it dripping. I actually got this from a guy on Gumroad. It's just the water drop texture on water, and then I layered it up with some of this concrete to look like it's just raining in, you know, little puddle areas. Stop here. But yeah, this is where mainly everything's going to be happening. The guy walks up here, sits down to the noodle bar. He's tracking this guy. This is who he wants to follow. And then he gets up. He follows him down the street, way back there, which you can see. That's the entrance to the club, which is where the band is playing. Oops, zoomed way too far out. There we go. There's the stage where they're playing. They're not loaded into this scene, of course, because that's not needed, but yeah, this is all brought in as just a reference in here. Ooh, my Synthwave got out. Okay, so I think the only thing that's working in here is the club lights are going. Yeah, so the club's open, but there's no one in there yet. It's too early. No, but he's basically going to get up from the noodle bar, walk down the street, walk into the club up to the stage, and that's when the band walks out and they start playing. And the rest of the video is them playing their song. So, and that's when the action starts happening outside too. But that's more to come on what happens with the action there as we work on shots, you'll see. But as he walks away, this guy is our secret agent who is in disguise as this weird old man. And after this rockabilly guy next to him walks off, a person walks up behind him and recognizes him as the secret agent with his little tracking thing and attacks him and tries to kick his butt. And that's sort of the action that's going on until the rockabilly gang comes out of the club and starts trying to pummel him as well. And he does his Sailor Moon style transformation into the secret agent guy himself. And craziness ensues. So, let me see here to start. Yeah, so we've got the select hierarchy there. I'll kind of show you the parts of it here. Like, for example, this is the Steampunk Club, which is where all the rockabilly guys hang out. Let me turn off the lights. There we go. This whole thing I built here. I got some of these pipe assets from Ian Hubert. If anyone, he's like the Blender god, the Blender guru. And he had some pipe assets I used in here. And then took some old band posters and broke them up into pieces and pasted them all over the walls here. And as you walk into the club, you see them all here. Kind of wanted it to be like a futuristic CBGBs or something. If you're actually, this might be an image from CBGBs that I cut up, but I love how the walls and everything were just kind of grungy and covered with grime and old posters and stuff. I love that. So yeah, and then it's just this big industrial club and then this pocket in the middle of the city. And turn everything back on here. Yeah, here's everything without the lights. Let me hide this. This is the rain layer. Like that. There we go. So yeah, here's everything. I drew these textures here, and it's just kind of repeating on these very simple planes. If I bring it down, that's pretty basic. Same with this. This was just a flat drawing in Photoshop that I brought in, and then I extruded all the planes. Present. It's got a little bit of 3D in it, just so you get some parallax as you go by. I'll probably put a real, if we ever get close enough, I'll put a real paper lamp in there. You can even sort of walk into this little escort bar here. You can pick your scribble girl out front and then walk inside. The stairs there. Pay like a vending machine. Oh yeah, see, there's some boobages and some happy smoke. We all know what happy smoke is. Yeah. I want some happy smoke right now, but no. I learned long ago, no happy smoke when I'm working on 3D files, at least not where it counts, like at work or in front of people like this, because I tend to delete the wrong thing, write over files, and do stupid crap and ruin it. So, yeah, here's some other stuff. My wife actually did some signs for me too, like this bar here. Yeah, did a little art collab and did this bar. the cannabis coffee. There's some other ones that pop up in other shots, but yeah, she did this fake 7-Eleven thing, which is 320. Let's see what else got here. Try not to spin around too much and give people headaches. We got our little obligatory wall fans. Even though it's the future, we'd probably have central air and everything by now in a big city like this. But you know what? Fans look cool, especially on the sides of walls. Always got to get that Kowloon City feel going on. Yeah, and then our rows of paper lamps. Oh, we got a broken texture here. But it's just black anyway, so. And they don't show up in the shot, otherwise I'd fix it. Same with this pipe. It's kind of just blurred in the background, so I didn't bother making it connect to anything in here. Yeah, and then you got your watery little ground here. And then here, like I said, this is the, let's see. Select objects. Well, that didn't work. There we go. So yeah, without the bar, we sort of have this. We got this little walkway that goes up here. And it leads up to a tram, which is where the trains come by. Let's get over here. Yeah, the train will come down. There's just a street, but we don't really see it. There's a train that comes down here in one of the other shots, so. Right. Turn the noodle bar back on. Hide the rest of the environment for now. And yeah, this is the noodle bar where everything happened. This is all, like I said, this is built from the artwork. Got the posters here. I built the real 3D paper fans. And even if we wanted to go around the back, I actually found this from, well, I have this in one of the Kit Bash 3D things I got. This is actually the 3D bottles of plates that used to be around the front here that I ended up just redrawing 2D. So yeah, circle around the back again. But yeah, if someone needed to work back here, they can come back here if I route a shot back there. Because this is just a short that I'm doing, but it'd be nice to pitch as a series, and if I ever need to reuse any assets, I'll always have it ready, so. Alright, so then we have these characters. So we have some of the animation going on here. If I scrub through, everybody's kind of moving. So we have our 3D characters here, of course, which you've seen this guy with the blue dreads, and then, of course, this guy, the secret agent, and the guy he's tracking, but everyone else is 2D here. And they're just on cards. You can do the same thing if you just draw directly in here on grease pencil. But these are just cut out of the concept art, which I did before I went into Blender, so I didn't do them in grease pencil. Just cut them out directly, put them on transparent cards, brought it in as an image as plane, and then I just put real simple little rigs on them, only from the waist up. And if you look at how I cut it up, excuse me, let's go into edit mode here. There we go. You can kind of see I cut it up there. See, just to make it easier right now, just this guy. There we go. So I just put cuts around where, like, mostly his neck and his waist. I probably didn't need these ones through the middle here. It was just kind of one of the early ones I did in case I needed them and wanted to put more joints. But really all I needed was pose mode. I just wanted to have something that would make him just idle animation while he's eating, and I didn't want to take forever skinning either, so his hair moves around and stuff too, but you don't really notice it when he's just barely moving, eating and stuff. So, and a little bit for his hair. Same with his hair. I didn't want to deal with his hair touching his body and looking too obvious. The only thing I did extra was I cut off his arm so that I could make it bend in front there, like he's eating something in front of him with chopsticks or something. Same with this here. Yeah. Even that doesn't, and I didn't bother with the other arm. And then if I wanted him to rock in his seat a little bit. But the thing that's cool that I love about Blender and the graph editor is, show you here. I pick these and I go to the Z rotation. Start in this vertical. I usually have it on a secondary monitor. So if you look, there's this wavy line going through here. And if people aren't familiar, this is a modifier. So if you go in and you have any animation on a joint, you can just put a single key on the first one here. So the only key I set is on this first one here. And then after that, that enables your modifiers based on your channel, your animation channel here. So I just did this on the X, which is the side-to-side animation. And the modifier is just... Oops. Oh wait, sorry. It's the Z, sorry, not the X. Okay, so what it does is I just put a little noise modifier on it here. And if you adjust the scale, that's sort of the speed of it going up and down the curves. And then there's the strength, of course, which is the amplitude, you know. You can kind of see how it's affecting them there. I didn't want it to be too major. There we go. And then you can offset it on, you know, kind of drag it along, find a better part of the curve you want that might work better. And you can even just the phase there, you know, just to kind of adjust how the curve looks on your idle animation. But it's just free animation, so you put this on there, and then you can just hit play, and actually, so you can see a little more obvious. Let me bring up the strength. There we go. Bring it up even more. Yeah, now you can really see him moving. Maybe even scale so he moves faster. Yeah. Yeah, and then you do that on the different joints and you just offset them all and you just end up with all this free animation. So, and the thing that's cool is once you do that, you can add this stepped modifier, and I have the stepped on threes. So it's basically like baking your keys on threes and using it as flat tangents, like Spider-Verse style, and it makes it look stepped. And it's all non-destructive and it's all automated for you, which is great. And it's just so much easier than actually going in and trying to manually animate this random animation that looks just random and idle. And you only need it on one channel too. And if you like this setup for the whole character, you hit this little arrow up here, if you can see, and hit the up arrow and it'll copy it. Then when you go to the next channel here, you could just paste it. Well, I don't have it. Let's see. Go, and then just paste it on. There you go. Of course, we don't need it on this one, so I'm going to undo it. But yeah, and that's how I did it for basically all these. Well, not basically. That's how I did it for all the characters in front of the bar here. So I turn them back on here. Here they come. Hopefully, it doesn't crash on me. Turning the entire scene back on. There we go. So yeah, it looks weird if you look at it from an angle with them. Bent his legs a little bit in the geo before I rigged him up. But I even got this big guy here with his oops, let me get object mode. There we go. This big guy, he's trying to steal some noodles from his girlfriend. She's just kind of chilling there. I could have done more, like make her kind of lean away, you know, like, don't take my noodles. But I didn't want to distract from the main event, which is this guy walking in and sitting down. So yeah, and you saw in the last stream, or if you didn't, you can go back and watch the one right before this. We applied the animation to this guy, and oh, I just realized one thing I might fix and do one more render of this. His elbows look a little weird, so I'm going to go in and do a corrective blend shape on him. So just for when they're bent is when they look weird, otherwise they look okay. So I just go do a quick sculpt on that for this shot and it'll look fine. I can show you guys how that looks later, but it's pretty simple to do. Maybe I'll show how to do that in a future tutorial or a future stream. And then yeah, same with these guys. This was just me in the mocap suit. I walked up and sat down in I used a stool, and then I modified it in iClone to sort of line it up. Oh, camera's getting in the way. Turn off all this stuff. There we go. Yeah, so this is all mocap animation on these guys, and just kind of tweaked it a little bit. I did a little bit of modification in Blender to make sure his leg steps around the stool okay and looks all right. And some of it was a little short, so I duplicated and stretched it out, and then I baked it on 3s and offset them from each other. Because one thing you want to do if you're working in stepped animation that'll help you sort of fill in the gaps. You don't want to, say, take all 3 of these characters and bake each of them. Well, first thing I do is if it's slow motion or mellow types of motion like this, not high fast moving action, I'll bake it on 3s, sometimes every 4th frame, 3s and 4s, because they're not moving a ton. You don't need a ton of animation. It actually ends up looking a little too smooth, which I don't really like. I want it to look sort of choppy like 2D animation, and that's what I'm trying to do. I want it to match this 2D art as close as I can, so that people who aren't watching this can't tell the difference, and as much as possible. And so when it's slower animation, same with traditional animation, they're not gonna animate on 1s and 2s if they can help it, when it's just a person standing there talking or just scratching their face or something. You know, even anime, you know, they have they're the experts at shortcuts and saving time on animation, so where to animate and where not to, you know, freeze the head and just animate the mouth, stuff like that. But another thing you can do, which I learned from going through frame by frame on Akira with the bike chase, for example. If you open that up, and sorry if I'm repeating myself from an earlier stream, but they're not bookmarked, so you might not have run across it. But one thing they did is, if you look at the bike chase, for example, when they come out of the bar, one of the best places to see it is when they come out of the bar, they all get on their bikes, you know, Kaneda kicks Tetsuo off his bike, they load up, and then they all pull around that corner, leaving the alley. And when they do that, if you slow down and you arrow through frame by frame, you'll see that when one bike moves, it'll move 1 frame, then freeze for like 2 to 3 frames, usually 2 on those, because it's moving kind of fast. But then on the still frame, the other bike will move and then freeze, so they're sort of also, so it's like they're going along. Wait, let's see the camera. So the bikes will be going along like oops, you know, offset, and then there's like 5 bikes each doing that. And then when you watch it, it makes it look even smoother than if they just, you know, they save a lot of time without having to animate the whole thing on 1s, and it sort of looks like they did. So that's a really cool trick I found, and that's what I did with these. These are animated on 3s, so these are all, each 3 of these guys are offset from each other by 1 frame. So I think you can see it here. It's just a lot of idle animation, so it might not be as obvious, but if I go through an arrow, all right, the cook moved 1, and then this guy moved. Yeah, all right, so there you go. So they're all on 3s, so if you watch, actually, let me close this so we can get a little bigger. So yeah, we have the chef move, and then we have our old man in disguised secret agent move, and then the rockabilly gal move. And then go on more, now the chef, then this guy, and this guy. Chef, this guy, this guy. So, and then when it plays, it all blends together nicely, and it looks great. So, love that little trick, and it's so simple. And then, yeah, then when you play it, you know, it doesn't really look as choppy like I would expect 3s to look, because, I mean, 3s and 4s is like what they do with some really cheap animation sometimes, and it looks so obvious, but with TV series. But you know, with this stuff, it blends together pretty well. So there we go. Let's see, any other little details about this that people might want to know? Don't look at my outliner and learn anything from that because it is a mess. I try to stay pretty organized when I'm at work, but here it's just a big mess. I don't organize anything. So turn on the main environment here again. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's all the major stuff for this one. And then, oh yeah, I have the, wait, where'd I put the plane? Oh yeah, here's another thing I did, another little trick. One thing I do for the depth of field, if you look through the camera here, the camera is doing this long push in here. If you can see this this little plus sign here, this is the guide for where the focus area is on the depth of field as you're pushing in. And see, I'm gonna go out of the camera here, you'll see. So it's focusing right on this guy. This is the distance, so it doesn't need to be like locked onto his head. It's just the front to back distance from here to here. And it basically stays on him. As he sits down, it moves forward, and it stays right on him. So that the focus is always on him because he's the focus of the shot, obviously. And the way I did that, you could go into the camera and manually animate that. If you go into here, on the right side here, we have our focus distance. And this green, it's green and grayed out because I have it constrained to something, but you could take it, see if it'll let me do it. No, it won't let me do it. Okay. But if you drag this focus distance, you can keyframe it, move it back and forth, and it'll represent it in your scene using that plus symbol. You can do that by turning on show limits on your viewport display, and that's what will show you that plus. But what I do is I have it constrained to an empty, same as a locator in Maya if you're a Maya person, and that's this here, and that's what I animated. So go split the screen again here, I'll show you. Go to the camera view. Oh yeah, let me turn on my Passepartout, which is here. There we go. This Passepartout. I don't know what that means, the way language that's even in, but that's basically the darkness of your slate. So by default, it comes in, and I think at about 0.6 or maybe even 0.5. It's not that dark, so I like to darken it a bit. But even here, make it totally black, just to make it easier to focus on what we're looking at. And if I take my dock guide, I called it, which is just an empty that I constrained the focus distance to, which you can do here. When you turn on your depth of field, you can say focus on object, and when you do that, you can either pick it out of the list here, or it'll give you a dropper, and you can select it in your scene or in your outliner. And once you have it, now you can keyframe it and you can adjust it. So if you look in the left side here, you'll see as I drag it out, things go out of focus as I drag it around. Yeah, could focus on the chef there. Actually, to make it even more obvious, let's bring it down. Make it super blurry. There we go. Real tight focal area. Now, there we go. Let's focus on the chef. Or drag it out to these people right there, or even farther. And it looks pretty cool. I love how it blurs out there. It looks so nice. Does a great job. Just focus on the lights in the background there. Yeah, it's great. I mean, if you wanted to get really funky, you could start adding fog back there and everything too to help blur things, but I don't really need atmosphere in this shot because there's just so much going on and there's so much clutter in the background. And I don't mind the backgrounds being super kind of busy because the approach I take with my character design for this stuff and just in general is I like complex, detailed backgrounds and simple characters. So you're never going to see like a video game style Space Marine guy with like 8,000 little cluttery details all over their outfit. I kind of keep it very basic, you know, solid colors, big shapes, you know. I don't want a lot of craziness going on with any characters. I want them to sort of be these basic shapes and colors that pop from a really complex background. So let's see. What else we got here? What is this? Oh no, I don't want that. I hid my rain and now I don't know where the rain thing went. Hang on, let me just reload the scene. Okay. The texture's on again here real quick. He looks naked right now. Don't get offended. He'll have clothes on soon. Just wait. Just wait for it. Wait. Wait. Wait, Paul. It's gonna have texture soon. Gonna put some clothes on. Alright, there we go. Yeah. Zoom up. Alright. Yeah, we got this black plane here, which is... it's a super simple emitter. And it's just dropping these raindrops, and they are literally just... I think just cylinders. Let's see. Yeah, here's the rain. Oh yeah, Ecosphere raindrop. Oh yeah, this is it. This is... let me go isolate this. That's your raindrop right there. It's just a super scaled isosphere. There you go. Just scaled in the z-axis, so it's really long and stretchy. And I kind of experimented with it. You could, see. I'm gonna go back. I'll show you these two things by themselves. Oh, hang on. Forgot. I'm in edit mode. Okay, now. There we go. So now we just got the rain. There's a way to... it's so tiny. Well, we can fix that. I'll show you. I'm just using this plane as an emitter, and it's just emitting at random from it. It's very simple. It's almost just the default emission. Got the number set up to 7,000. The frame start, I have it start a little bit so for 0. And yeah, and I have it stop at 460. And the lifetime is like at 50, which is more than enough time for it to fall through the floor before it disappears. But you don't want the lifetime to last forever because that'll just take up resources. And it's so random, I don't really bake any of it, so don't really need it. And yeah, if you have this here, you can't see them right now because I don't have them selected, but I'll just let's see if I scale in the X, see what happens. You'll really start be able to, as I make this thing huger. Yeah, there you go. Now you can see the raindrops. Oh wait. Oh, because it's keyframe here. Hang on, let me just stop it here. There we go. There you go. That's ridiculous. Now it's hailing. There we go. Let's see. Flex, delete. There we go. Now it's snowing. Got some random ones going off too. I don't know what's going on there, but we go back in and see how it's just destroying the scene. Now everyone's gonna die from getting pummeled by hail. So, I think, oops. Yeah, then you can hide the original raindrop there, but it's still working here, so it's not in your scene. There we go. We've got our hail now. Some shadows going. All right. There we go. That's about it that I have to show with this scene. If there's any other details you wanted to see how it was done, I can show you, but I've kind of gone over some of the other stuff, showed how I was creating the character and brought him in here. And let's see here. I'll show you what's coming up next too. So, well, here, let me do a little presentation here. Back to shots here. Shots. Okay. Real quick, let me get the sound going through here. Add application audio capture. Oh, right. Alright, I gotta pause the music here. Let me see here. Just trying to get it so you can actually hear. Okay. All right, one sec here. It's not playing the audio. It's not playing the audio. That's strange. Thanks, OBS, for doing this to me live. You son of... See if I can get this going real quick. Ooh, got some double up sound. All right. Now, still not working. Darn it. All right, let me try this. Try VLC. Okay, let's see if this will work. Get the sound going through here. VLC. Does this work? Ah, there we go. Now it's working. It's harder to scrub through VLC, but yeah, some of the stuff I'll show. There's the train that goes by. You know, some of the scene I was showing you. This is, so like I was saying, this is the, I'll do a little showcase here. I'm just going to show you a little showcase of the environment and the scenes and the shot we'll be doing next. But yeah, like I said, it's just sort of a pocket in the middle of the whole city. So there's no real sky or bottom or anything. It's just water dripping from condensation like rain. These things go down. There's some birds flying around there. This big neon sign. It's a pretty big area. It's, you know, it's definitely populated. It's huge, and there's transit and everything that goes down here. It's not necessarily like a hidden little shack that the city doesn't know about. It's just sort of like, you know, the outskirts that people tend to not hang out at, as their parents tell them, like, don't go down there if you know it's good for you. But of course, this is where all the cool kids hang out. have to open up the scene one time and I can show you guys too. Oh yeah, you can see it there right at the end. Yeah, we're panning down here and we're going to end up right in front of the, this is the bar where they're playing. And right at the end, you can see the pomades pulling up in their cars. Right there, there they are, just before we fade out. Yeah. All right, panning down here to see the city. This doesn't exist anymore, but it looks cool in the shot, so who cares? There we go, got some crowd walking by. This shot might be going out, so I haven't finished it yet. I might take it out or change it. We'll see, though. This overhead shot. We'll see. It's a nice shot of the rain on the ground and stuff, though, but I don't know, it's a lot of work to get the whole crowd going through, filling up the streets and everything. I'm not sure if it's worth it, but we'll see. It's a cool shot, so. Yeah, cute with the music here as he walks up. Kind of excuse to showcase the city a little bit more. Yeah, here's some more crowd walking through the rain. Actually, I might have to get some of that in the shot we just finished too. Yeah, then of course, the nice teeth shot. He's hungry. Sounds good. He wants some salantong. It's his favorite dish, just like me. A man after my own heart. Sorry, I hope that's not too loud over me. But yeah, here you are, and this is the original scene. It was halfway done before. I'm just kind of finishing it off here. All right, turn this down. See, it used to be a 2-shot cutting in tighter, but now I kind of like it better as just a long, slow push in. Oops, brought the sound down too much. There we go. You like this early version of the noodle bar guy? A little stand-in. He's talk about a basic design. Yeah. Gotta fix this guy too, because he's only one-sided, so you're seeing the back of his head here too. So I'll have to draw a side shot of him with grease pencil. Yeah, like I was saying before, you can draw in 2D and rig it up with bones just like you can with 2D, or just like with geometry in here on the cards. So it's great. I'll take 2. You got it, bro. I'm so excited that my gums are showing through my mouth. Yeah. And I haven't textured my teeth yet in this scene. But I'm happy and I'm ready. So yeah, here he pats him on the back, and it's going to cut close. And as he pulls his hand away, it'll have this little digital thing that sort of spreads out and disappears, and it's a tracker that he put on him. Just in time for him to stand up and walk off, because he's annoyed and he's done eating, and it's time to get to the club to see his favorite band, the Pomades. As you can see, my amazing animation. Oh wait, let's look at that again. This is the best animation ever. This isn't placeholder animation. This is final. Watch. Look at that walk. Oh yeah. Look at those stiff hands. No, just kidding. And then that brings us to our next shot. I'm not going to show you the whole thing yet. I'm just going to kind of skim it, because this is the longest shot in the sequence, and I actually might release it once it's done as a teaser for the upcoming short when I have it done. But of course you'll see it while I work on it, but I don't want to spoil the whole thing yet because it's not done. But it's a long walk of him through the whole city, down the street, into the club, to showcase the entire city as we're going through, which is kind of the real character here. But yeah, this is very unfinished. A lot of like messed up stuff, like this floating dog with her walker there. This guy's floating over here. Let's see. Yeah, these guys are kind of jacked up. But it's got some great, high views with some atmosphere. More signs that my wife made for me a while back, like the Dill Hole Fresh Market, which is, love that. That's one of my favorite ones. Hang on, let's see. Get a better freeze frame on it. There you go. It's a little Beavis pickle. And then, of course, we've got our star cheese cups. Just on another film. I'm not sure if it comes into view here. Okay, you can kind of see it rotating back there. I like these floating, rotating neon signs. And the Viceroy Hotel and Resort over here. These side things changed here. It's not these checker... well, actually it is, but I have like a different video effect going on it. But one thing I need to add here is I gotta add some rockabilly guys from his gang in the background as he walks in. And as he's walking by here, a space taxi, well, like a futuristic taxi, is gonna fly in from the right and land here on the left, just to add some more detail in the background and some more visual interest as he's just walking by, chilling, enjoying his town that he hangs out in. And then let me skip here a little bit. Yeah, he's walking through here. He's seeing got a couple AI posters. I should remove those. Early Mid-Journey days, but yeah, I'm not too happy with the current state of some of that stuff, so I might remove it, but we'll see. Let's see. Yeah, we got a bunch of gang people, just a bunch of people hanging out, chatting. There's the Pomades cars parked over here, so we know they're in the club, ready to go. Yeah. Azusa Record Store, another one that my wife made. Oh yeah, you can sort of, let's see, up here. This billboard on the left is actually, you can see it on my channel. Yeah, you can kind of see it. When I first started in Blender, I was trying to make an animated series based on Mark Millar's Starlight comic book, and it looks really cool. I did a few test shots for it and threw them on. They're on my Twitter as well, even though I don't use Twitter much anymore. But if you don't know who Mark Millar is, he's a British writer. Works well. He has his comics called Miller World now, which Netflix owns, and they're producing all of his graphic novels into different forms of media. He, like animated shows, live action shows, but he's the guy who created Kick-Ass, and he created Kingsman, oh shoot, now I'm having a brain fart. It's the one with Angelina Jolie where they do the side, they can curve bullets. That was him as well. So they don't own those, but they bought the rest of his catalog, and he kind of runs the show over there for all his content. And they're releasing new comic books as well, which is, it's all really cool. And he's a super awesome guy. I mean, I haven't met him personally, but I shared some of my stuff with him on Twitter, and he thought it looked great for the Mark Millar thing. It was right when he made the announcement about Netflix, and I was like, ooh, this would be perfect for an animated series. And only to find out that that's the one property that they didn't buy because friggin' Disney owns it, and Disney's probably just gonna sit on it forever and do nothing, and there's no way I'll ever get the rights from Disney. I can't afford lawyers for that. Who knows, maybe I could pitch it to Disney too, but I don't know. I kind of abandoned it because I'd want it to be kind of dark and edgy, and I don't want it to be all safe and plain Jane Disney style. I want it to be risky and kind of edgy, sort of like the Invincible cartoon. It's like super gory and trippy. So I don't know. I might still play with it though, just for fun down the road. You never know what could happen. But I showed it to Mark Millar on Twitter, and he thought it looked great. But unfortunately, he doesn't have the rights anymore. But yeah, you can sort of see that's a still from it though. I mean, that's how it looks in Blender. This is another real-time render. It looked great. So but yeah, as we're walking along, we just kind of walk into the club and skip ahead a little bit here. Oops. Too far. Here's the wall here I showed you with all the signs and everything. Let's see here. Yeah, and as he gets in here, he heads up, and the Pomades come out to play their show. Let me turn the volume down a bit. The music fades out, now we're fading in. Because basically, if this is a pitch for an animated series, and I want to score the series with my music, which is a sort of techno rockabilly music, and the people who write the soundtrack to the score would be me, of course, but it would be named after this fictional band, the Pomades. So they sort of are always appearing in the background, scoring the entire show. And here they come out. It's just these three guys. Got a drummer with the top hat, this big beefy bass player guy here, and then this short, vampiric, weird little short guitarist guy. And let's see. Yeah, we got some grease pencil going on here, some effects. This is some of the later stuff going on, but here we go. See, this is what I like too. You can blend 2D. This is 2D cards, grease pencil, and 3D characters with hand-drawn textures all blended together. So all right, so I don't want to spoil the whole thing here because it's not done, but yeah, that's where we're headed. But yeah, here's the guy who finds him. Yeah, this big old guy. He is going to be the main fight. This guy, and when he turns into the secret agent, you know, he spots him here with this little thing. He's like, oh, there he is. I spotted him. And then he's going to fight him. And then we have our Sailor Moon style transformation. Yeah. But that's all a work in progress. There we go. Big mouth. More on textured teeth. But yeah, we got some placeholder boards here. Anyway, there we go. Enough spoilers, though. So yeah, the next shot we'll be working on. Next week, I might actually work on a character and get him rigged up and moving again. Go through that process again. And, oops. But, yeah, or I might put the future taxi in this shot and start touching up this shot. Because I want to try to get it done over the next couple weeks and get the shot released out there. It's a nice intro because has a nice long walk, showcases the city, walks up and shows the club, the name of the band walks out, and then it ends, and it fades out of the old music into the beginning of the Pomade song, but it doesn't actually play the song yet. I don't want to spoil the song till the short comes out. So yeah, it's like a little teaser. Sort of like this teaser. And let's see. Couple little things here. Oh, hello, Mr. Miyagi. Someone wants to make an appearance. Hello. Here. Miyagi. Hey. Hey, you. Hi. Hi. Yeah? What do you want? You want to be on stream? You want to talk about the shot? This is Mr. Miyagi, everybody. As you can see, he talks a lot. He meows a lot. That's why he is named Mr. Miyagi. Meow! Yeah. Can't leave me alone. You gotta get involved, huh? Yeah, you gotta step on the keyboard here. Yeah? You know, step on the keyboard and accidentally end the stream, maybe? Alright, here. You want to lay here? Here. I think he just wants to sit down. I think he just wants to sit on the table here because I usually let him lay there while I work, and I had books blocking it. So here you go. Lay down. There you go. There you go. All right, little Miyagi intermission. Yeah, he's just going to sit and stare at us for a while. Miyagi. He's a cool guy. He's an old man. He was abandoned. He was rescued. He's almost 15 years old. He's a pandemic rescue. So he's old and geriatric now. He has lots of issues. But he's a sweetie. Miyagi. So he'll probably be making more appearances in the future. All right, let's go back. Show a couple more little things here, and then I'll tune out for the night. And I'll be back next week working on that other shot. Let's see here. Yeah. Yeah, here's some demos I did of some of the other characters. Let's see. We're going here. There we go. Yeah, so here's the original. His name's the Big T. And T stands for torso, of course, for obvious reasons. He's doing a little Tai Chi Zen dance here. Some karate. Yeah. And the typical mocap problem that messes up the thumbs, but it was just messing around, so. Here's the guy I showed who comes by with the big mace or the giant hammer. He's going to come up and attack the secret agent guy. So he's kind of the main antagonist on this, and they'll be fighting. Oh, yeah. Oops. Oh, I bumped the mic and it was making like a techno sound. Yeah, here's a good moment. There we go. Butthole licking. There you go, Miyagi. That's real appropriate. Nice. Yeah, look at that. Got that tail right up there. High five. All right. Enough, Miyagi. Okay. There we go. All right. So yeah, there's this guy. These are just kind of little animation and style tests that I did early on. All real-time Blender stuff. Just trying to get the overall look to make sure it's working. Same as this is just some mocap plugged into them. I didn't record the mocap though. It's just some stuff I found. Let's see. It's another little. I think. Where is it? Come on. Sorry. One more sec here. Yeah, just some more tests. This is the secret agent once he turns into the secret agent from the guy in the disguise, which you've sort of seen the version of this guy doing this animation in my intro to some of my stuff. If you look, this is him in his suit. A little foggy cloud, sunlight, synthwavy style. Same thing. Yeah, here he is. This is just some. My friend was testing out the mocap suit, and I was testing out some styles too. I kind of like some of this, but what I found is when he's just solo like this, it looks pretty cool with these cool lines for the face. That's very comic book style, and just these cross hatching and these little white dots, sort of Spider-Verse style. But like I was saying, when I'm in a scene, I like a complex background and simple characters, and all this does is create additional noise with the background, and it just doesn't end up looking that great. I didn't really like it once it's in scene, so I keep trying cool styles that look great in stills or by themselves, but then in the scene, I just don't like how it works. Plus, I didn't want to go with the solid black shadow like this too. I wanted to be more like most traditional animation where it's just kind of a darkened version of the color. So yeah, but there's the, wait, is this him? What's this one? There we go. A little less moving, but just kind of showing that same style that I was trying out. So it kind of looks cool, but you know, too much movement, it starts getting these sort of moire pattern style things going on. But you know, might work for different things in the future or one-offs. There's some great stuff you can do with math nodes, just procedural texturing for shadows with Blender, and it's one reason I like it. There's one more, I think. Yeah, here's another turnaround of them. I do like this look, the black with the white lines a lot, but I'll still probably get rid of a lot of these dots and stuff. Or here's him. Yeah, just another one. Oops. Slower turnaround. Yeah, but that's our main guy from the show, which is kind of funny because most of the short isn't really centered around him, and he shows up more than halfway through. But it's just kind of to showcase all the characters and the style of the whole universe. Yeah, just more animation tests. Let's see here. What's going on? Come on. Now it's deciding it doesn't want to play. Oh, that's okay. We didn't want to look at you anyway. Yeah, here's some other earlier tests of the torso. Same thing, playing, but oh, come on. Now, let me close this now since we're done looking. There we go. Now it's maybe I was running out of memory. But yeah, just some more style tests. This looks cool with that cross hatching, especially with the 2D animation. But yeah, same thing. Once I had it in shots, it just didn't quite work. It looks great with stills, but yeah, just interesting stuff you can experiment with, or maybe it gives you ideas for your work with characters. Same with this. I mean, if you freeze frame it, it looks really cool. This would be a great illustration. But once it's moving, you know, it's a little too much. But yeah, there we go. And then I think the last little thing here. Let's see. Tests, movies. Oh yeah, this is one of the girls we got to get into the scene. She needs a little bit of work, but she's a little plain Jane right now. But yeah, there's not a lot of girls in it, so we need to get that changed up too. Give her a polka dot dress, probably a bigger dress. I want her to be one of the Rockabilly girls, part of the Rockabilly gang. So, and then there's the rest of the Rockabilly gang, which is these guys. These guys are great. But I want to either add one or switch one of these guys out too with a. I want an Asian Rockabilly guy here. Not to like virtual signal or anything like that, but it's mainly because the whole look of this thing and even these guys was all inspired by these Japanese rockabilly guys that dance in the park in Tokyo. And if you go just look up Japanese rockabilly Tokyo on YouTube, it'll be like your first result. And it's just these guys who dress old school rockabilly with these pointy shoes and these gigantic pompadours, and they hang out with their girlfriends that are dressed like polka dot dresses with beehive haircuts. And they brush the guy's hair because the pompadours are too big for them to reach the top themselves with their own combs, and they just hang out in the park and they dance to rockabilly music, and it's great. So that was kind of the inspiration for all of this. So I think I ended up making it a bunch of white dudes, but I got to represent at least one of those Japanese rockabilly guys in here because they're sort of the inspiration for this, the little seed that started this whole thing. Let's see. Just gotta do it. Yeah, just more animation tests. This dude. Some of the facial motion capture you can do too. I talked about a little bit last week with iClone. You can use your iPhone to do facial motion capture real time with this, which is really cool. So I don't have a lot of dialogue in my scenes, so there won't be a ton of this, but it's a great resource. And I think that's about it. I was gonna do. Where is it? There was one. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh wait. It's a grayscale version of this. Is getting some wind blowing on his shirt. You can kind of see how this looked in grayscale. It was kind of cool to see without the textures and everything, and I'll show you what the final looks like. I have this light trail effect that I use too that shows a beam of light, almost like Akira, the trails of light coming off their lights behind them, which you can use. I've used it on a couple other projects like that AWOL Nation one. And it has, let's see, and it'll do lightning around the wheel like this too. It's got some additional effects that are really cool to play with. So once it's all done, you end up with this. Actually, hang on. Let me close that. I'm going to play this through VLC so you can actually hear it. This will be the last thing I'll show, but this is actually playing a bit of the actual Pomade song that this is a music video for. There you go. This is actually on my YouTube too, but just to top things off here, especially after seeing that little grayscale one, which was cool. So yeah, let me... Come on. Does not like to pop in. There we go. So yeah, like I was saying, this is how the grayscale looked. And now the full comped version, which is another just real-time render from Blender. The only thing I did in this was I did a slight color ramp to change the colors a bit, and then the same thing where I duplicate the footage and give it a slight blur and lower the opacity a lot. Other than that, it's all real time from Blender. And this just kind of showcases how big the underground city is too. Oh yeah, so that's like I was talking about, that sort of beam behind him gets like a Tron beam, and it's sort of got this electricity going around it. Because I like everything here. Things don't necessarily fly, but they sort of hover with this energy, which all the tires have this sort of glow to it. So they're like kind of floating like magnets as they move around the city. So yeah, it makes a nice, cool distance effect, especially in the back when you see that electricity breaking it up. Oh yeah, and I did comp in the light for the lens flares here, but that's the only comp thing I did. And then this guy, oh shoot, I should, another brain fart, I forgot. There's a guy on YouTube who makes these real simple futuristic cars in Blender that he posts up for free on Sketchfab, and they're really cool. Actually, if you see this video, if you're interested and you see this video on my YouTube, in the description, I credit the guy that I got him from, but all the cars he rides by on the street here are from that guy, and he makes really cool cars. Yeah, like that thing. That thing's really cool looking. They go by real fast here, but they're neat looking cars. So they're very simple and low res, but it's perfect for this stuff. So, but yeah, as you can see, this is, there's those floating blimps again, so you can kind of see the location. The bar is probably just back here to the left. But yeah, and you can see like even the roof is just full city. It's almost like Coruscant in Star Wars. This would be like the underneath the city, a little pocket of underground city, because it's a whole planet, the city, and it's just gigantic, which I just love huge city stuff like this. So it's all glowy. Who knows what if your office is like right up here and you're working here and looking down, and this is what you see all day down below. I always wonder, like, when they have cities like this, how many people are actually in all these little lit windows and stuff, actually working every day, like commuting to work. So, but yeah, just more style experimentation too. But yeah, a lot of like just kit bashing shapes. I think I got a couple of these buildings off a guy who made these future blocky low-res buildings on ArtStation. I kind of duplicated those. Some of it's modeled. Got some more Ian Hubert pipes in here. Yeah, and this stuff is all just all the ceiling stuff. It's just pretty much cubes with textures projected on it, and it's all procedural. So I'll have to show that. Maybe I'll open this scene next week too, and I can kind of show you how all this stuff is laid out for this scene. And you'll see how simple this sky stuff is. It's just a bunch of cubes. It's pretty cool. And then you just put little spotlights to highlight little areas. So yeah, coming soon. Right. All right, and that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. So everyone who's listening in, I appreciate you watching. And anyone who stops by to watch this stuff afterwards, I appreciate that. And let me get the synthwave going again. Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate you all watching, checking it out, and showing some support. I love just talking Blender stuff, so whether you're here or not, I like just streaming and talking about it and showing it, and then we have it on record. So yeah, I got a couple things coming up too. I'm working on this short, of course, and I might be doing a workshop for Noman, but it's not, I haven't sealed the deal yet. I still have to present it to him and see, but we've been in talks, so it's not official yet. I probably shouldn't even mention it, but it's something I want to do, and I'm going to try to get it done before summertime here and get it out so you can kind of see how I made my AWOL Nation music video, and it'll kind of, I have a little 1-minute music clip that I'm going to make a music video for and show it in that, just do the whole process from start to finish and record it all. So it'll be pretty cool to see how it's all thrown together, and it'll include a little bit of ZBrush, a little bit of iClone, a little bit of Character Creator, mostly Blender, and probably some Premiere with some Redshift effects too that I use to sort of blend and morph things, but it's more just sort of blending the edit together. But yeah, and I have some ideas for some creative stuff to do. I'm also going to be doing some geometry node stuff in there too, because I want to try to make it some pretty psychedelic stuff with it, so that'll be pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, thanks again for stopping in, and hope you all have a good night. Let's see, let's lead down the, if you guys, just one more thing, you guys should check out this channel if you like Synthwave. Got your Synthwave Radio Lo-Fi Girl. I'm loving this channel lately. I think it's by the Lo-Fi Hip Hop people, but this is their synthwave version, which I love for obvious reasons. All right. Pause that. Okay. Thanks again, everyone. Have a good night, good weekend. Here we go. We got our bass player from the Pomades right here. You can watch him in detail, looping over and over. Thanks. See you next week.